The best part of your week is about to begin. This is the time where we talk shop, swap stories, and share lessons from our wild adventures in the creative industry. With each and every lovingly crafted episode, we strive to bottle that magic, warm, electric feeling you get after coffee with a new friend or attending a fantastic breakout session at a creative conference. You might start as strangers, but you'll leave as friends. Buckle up, settle in, and get ready for this episode of Making a Mark. Hello and welcome to another episode of Making a Mark, the show where my daughter doesn't take naps anymore and is home with me in the studio and just walked in here. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Ashley Ulmer. Ash, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we're doing just peachy.
Good. Happy Friday. What remind me of her name?
Pace. P-A-C-E.
Hi, Pace. Happy Friday.
I love it. I love it.
I think Pace should take your job. I think she would do a great job.
She's definitely cuter than me. All right. Let's go ahead and bring up our guest. I will be right back.
Sounds good.
Carson, how you doing today, big dog?
Hey, what's going on? I knew it was Bring Your Child to the Pod Day.
Yeah. What's your child's name, Carson?
This is Petcher.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
He said, I'm eating some chips. I'm just vibing
I'm
and
busy.
driving.
I'm busy. How old are you, buddy?
How old are you? He says 3, but he's only 2.
Oh, well, almost 3, huh? That's pretty
tell me
cool.
about it. Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for being here, Cowboy. So I've heard word on the street is there's a new Cooper kid in the house.
We had a brand new baby on Tuesday. So a couple days ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's our 3rd boy.
Nice.
And he's super sweet. Mama did great. We did a home birth. So mom's just been like hanging in bed, relaxing, recovering, cuddling up the new baby. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're super duper excited. He is his name is Case Dune Cooper.
Nice. I love
Our
it.
first one is Cannon Duke. This is Catcher Deke. And then we got Case Dune.
So CDC.
Yeah,
3.
you may have heard of them recently from the coronavirus.
Yeah, they're very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Josh had to go 10 to Pace, but I'm also going to add in another guest, which is Kameron Davis. Hi, Kameron.
How's it going, y'all?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Thanks for coming to hang with us.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this is all about and like how I'm. Of course, every time I even do my own podcast, but every time I get in front of a camera, I'm like, I always get nervous. So.
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
I have my hands like this. Mine are in like the prayer hands behind my mic. I don't know what else to do.
Okay, Cameron, I have a question. If you had to split up your name, like it can't be Cameron anymore, it could either be Cam or Ron. What would you go with? Are you a Cam guy or are you Ron?
I'm a Cam guy for sure.
I like
that. Ron just sounds like I'm 45 and having a midlife crisis. So
dude,
I feel like you're neglecting a letter here though with your split, Carson. Because
E?
I thought option 2 was going to be Eron.
Eron's better though. Eron's better. I would take Eron.
Eron's got some personality to it.
It's got a little flavor. It's got some seasoning as opposed to just Ron.
What's that? The you know what? We're just not even gonna reference that. It's gonna be great. We're gonna move on, guys. If you can't tell, I'm a little frazzled today. Going back to a new segment that we introduced last week. How fried is Josh? Ashley, what number do you want to put me at today?
Today I always forget the scale. Is it out of 10?
The scale changes every week.
Dang, dude, cracking a cold one on a Friday afternoon already, dude. That's how fried you are, dude. Ripping and sipping.
Kirkland soda water.
Landon. He has to put it in the wrap to make it look cool, though. Like he's embarrassed of his Kirkland signature.
He's ripping and sipping.
It's called a koozie.
Koozie, whatever.
Cold and refreshing.
A cold wrap, you know.
In New Mexico,
they call it wraps here. We don't have koozies.
The Native Americans actually invented them, and they are called chill wraps.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like to do.
Sure.
No, you know what's kind of crazy? I will say this because you brought up Native American. I found out. Well, I am part Native. You wouldn't be able to tell, but my
watch your mouth, Josh.
Yeah. So please, but my great grandma was 100% Ute Indian, and I have a photo of her.
That's
so I just
cool.
want to say I am part Native
That's only a
American.
few generations back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's
That's
pretty. I
crazy.
can.
How many
claim
Native
it,
American tattoos do you have?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, cool.
A bunch of really mean.
Is it more than?
Like,
Is it
I have like
more than
cactuses
one?
and stuff. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
no. I got the cool S. I mean, does that count? I don't know.
No.
No, but anyway, back to Josh's frazzled scale. I'm gonna guess the scale this week is the peak is 15,
Okay.
and you're at like a 14.5.
All right, so this is a tough one because I actually did have an answer ready prior to the show, and I'm not fried as much as just like behind.
Dried?
No, fried, like
Fried,
frazzled,
fried.
like oh, like I am pretty fried, but I'm more behind than anything because like I was like had to, I was starving, coming straight out of a meeting into this, obviously running kid duty. And then I was like, found myself like scarfing down like these oat balls over the sink. They're like 2 weeks old that I found in the refrigerator, like just eating these things like a rat and like a whole piece of chicken. I'm like, what is life right now? Let's go get in the studio and record.
Well, dude, Camus is here to prophesy that just setbacks are really just setups. You know what I'm saying? For God to do the miraculous, dude.
Cameron's saying,
and when you have pink bellies, God is going to turn those around for good too.
Man, that's so great.
I totally understand like that because my son dropped his nap maybe like 5 months ago, but that time is just like so wild, and you're like, why are you still here? Like normally you'd be sitting for 2 hours, but now you're sitting in front of me, and I'm like, I need to go do what I normally do at this time.
And you're also in a worse mood than normal because you're a little sleep deprived.
Yeah,
so it's fantastic.
I can feel that.
Well, guys,
just wait till I was just gonna say, just wait till all your kids are all in school, and then it's really nice. Once you reach that
must be
pinnacle.
nice, actually.
Yeah.
Cool flex.
Tell me about that. Tell me.
I will.
Great.
No, I lived that life for 10 years, so I get it.
I wish you were pulling up a picture of your kid. Like that's what the screen is like. Dude.
No,
Like,
we're
so
trying to
here's
get
the growth chart.
remotely back on the rails of this chaotic episode. Cameron, I failed to give you like I'm hyped to have you on, dude. I don't know how I found you fairly recently, and sometimes when I go this far on somebody's feed, I'm like, oh, sick, like I love this stuff, and that's the reaction that I had here, especially like this stuff, and then I saw some of your videos, saw that you are also a Contino fan.
Yes.
And I'm just big in on the approach, and what you've got a great podcast show, and you've actually landed some guests that I have tried to get that haven't responded to me yet. So kudos on that one. You're running a more effective podcast than we are over here, and so we just wanted to bring you over here, and hopefully some of that magic juju like rubs off on us. But
I will let you know that like
Bless you.
I didn't reach out to them. That was so you're probably talking about chutzpah. And what ended up happening was it was like a couple years ago. I had just left engineering and I was started to post design work, and I was even just making like prompts up and just making stuff. And they posted on one of my posts and they're like, you got really good stuff. And I was like, what? I fanboyed out. I'm like, what is going on? Like, and so I just was like, I got to meet you guys kind of thing. So
what I'm hearing is a just tremendously larger flex than you reached out and they said yes. They said, "Dear sir, might we be on your podcast, please?"
That is not what happened.
That's what happened. He's humble bragging over here. That Cameron, man,
they're great. They're great people though.
They are utterly delightful, super educational. That's something that I've found is my target for when I'm like reaching for the stars for some of these guests. Is like I want people who are hopefully some combination of these, but either fun or like really inspirational, or like kind of if I have to pick one of the three. They love teaching. They love opening up and like showing and sharing and like helping other people learn from their lessons, which I think is the majority of quote unquote famous designers in this day and age.
Oh yeah. You got to give a lot. You got to give a lot to kind of build that base that most people are looking for. So I think that's what people miss out on is they're like, well, how do I get to this point? And it's like, well, you got to do more giving than you're going to get for a long time. So
and talking to some of the old dogs, it didn't used to be that way. It used to be a lot more like KG. Like if I tell you where I get my fonts, like I'm gonna my job security decreases by 1%, right? And so everybody's all just like, oh, gut it out, find your own way, son, kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that mentality, especially being like, I'm an outsider, basically. Like I went to college for engineering. So this was something that I just was like, hey, I want to get over here. How do I get there? And it was definitely YouTube. And YouTube, I learned everything I could from YouTube, and then eventually got to like Skillshare and like the other places that were paid. But at the beginning, you don't got no money for this.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You can learn a lot at YouTube. Ash, is this the post that you wanted to dissect?
Yeah, I just thought it was super cool, and I love that it has Tyler the Creator now. It's awesome.
So yeah, tell us about what's going on behind the scenes here. Like, how did you make this, and what's the deal?
So Tyler he released an album, I think it was last year. And then this year he released, or like a couple weeks ago, he released the deluxe. So I was like listening to, he put out videos first, like music videos first. And I was watching Sorry Not Sorry, which is like the last track in the deluxe. And it's just cinematic and it encompasses his whole career. And it was just, what can this man not do? Like he can pretty much do everything. Bruh. And so I went to one of my buddies, and I was like, he's also a huge Tyler fan. And I was like, what would Tyler do? Kind of like the what would Jesus do? And I was like, that is like, this man can do no wrong. So that's where the vibe of this one came from. So what I'll do when I've been really just trying to practice letters, working on letters and stuff. So sometimes what I'll do is I have a note section in my iPhone, and I'll take and write out like possible lettering captions.
Sure.
And so this was one that was in there for a while, and I saw that video and I was like, this is it. This is the time. Like, let's go and do it. So this the imagery is from Dogtooth. That's the video that's from. And then I was like, there's all these types of vibes I'm trying to encompass. I really like the collage-y feel with the like noisy like letters, and then just rough and free. And then I always like to add a little noise on top of it at the end.
Yeah.
But I always say like the vibe I'm trying to get is like really noisy and rough and not clean, because I feel like a lot of my life I tried to force being like a clean, crisp like designer and artist, and it never fit. And I was just like, well, I want to be like these people. Why can't I do it? And I feel like now I'm embracing the fact that here I am. And like, and every stroke is different. Like every letter here is not the same. It's not clean. Some of them don't feel like they even belong together, but it's like in that there's growth, in that there's like, it kind of explains my path to being Black. Like in every stroke, there's struggle. And so that's what I've been kind of like addressing as I'm becoming mid-30s is like, how do I be okay with who I am and move forward in that and stand strong in who I am?
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. That's so awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but if you said, hey, Josh, you can either like doodle and like draw pictures, or you can just draw letters the rest of your life. Like you have to pick one. I'm picking letters, baby, because I'm with you. Like 100%. Just finding out ways to make them, look interesting or different from each other or similar to each other. Like, I mean, we had on previous episodes some guys that all design fonts at like big foundries and stuff, and it like I feel like I'm nerdy about this stuff, and then hearing like, oh no, there's so many more layers to this than I've even got tapped into, and so I don't know. I love this stuff. I love your style. I think it's super cool. Carson, let's talk about your life. What have you been working on?
Also, hold on. For everyone's consideration, Kameron, this looks great. I also I have my computer set to grayscale, so everything is black and white to save my eyeballs. So I have no clue if this is in color or not. Everything is in black and white, but it is in my screen. It's in black and white, and it looks good.
Really? That's crazy.
I turned my phone, like all my phone settings are in grayscale. Everything is black and white, just because my eyes started burning for so much.
A couple months ago, my phone
my phone went grayscale,
and I didn't know what the hell happened. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, my phone's broken. I don't know how to get the color back. But then I figured out you just press the thing 3 times. But it was like a whole day. I was just stressing out.
I was about to say, how long did you have it?
It was almost 24 hours until I finally was like, I should Google it. And then I figured it out.
I want to know.
I've heard people do the grayscale, especially if they're like addicted to their phone, because it's supposed to be like it makes it less interesting. So you
definitely
want to be in there.
That's a good idea.
I'm trying to phase out. I'm honestly on the precipice of getting a flip phone, like a dumb phone.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm just like, why the hell?
I love your journey from afar.
Part of me thinks like the biggest thing when people
like a YouTube challenge.
I know. Well, when people talk about giving up their smartphone, the biggest thing they typically say is like, "What about my pictures?" Right? Like, or the ability to take pictures. Okay. How often are you combing through the catalog of your photo album on a monthly basis?
Oh, I do it every day.
You're scrolling back
every day.
Yeah. I mean, I look at my photos a lot, like of my kids and stuff. Like legit, I look at like my history and I look at those memory things like all the time. Like I love it.
Right. And that's awesome.
Right.
However, I think it's interesting that we just let Apple give us the memories we want to experience, right?
Sure.
We're like, oh, I haven't seen this picture in 10 years until Apple just decided I should see it today. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. So part of me is like, well, what if I just was intentional about the pictures I took? And then I made a funnel, like, okay, I have a camera, I take pictures, and then they're on my computer, and then I can print them out or do something. Like, I captured the memory, but now it's just in September 2021 in my iPhone. I'm like, okay, where's that one again? And you scroll and look for it. But anyways.
Yeah, true.
I like the vibe, Carson. I appreciate it. Like,
because
I definitely agree with
last
you.
Part.
No, I love a good the old school phones. They were like, I was so hyped on them. But I mean, also that's like the first phone I ever had, so I like loved it. But I could probably go back to that
different phones. Like you showed up and all of your friends had a different phone.
Oh yeah,
like someone slid, someone swiveled, someone had this, and then you
Flipped.
could just you could trade SIM cards and just I'm gonna borrow their phone for a little bit and try this out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what was the T-Mobile one? The one that like flipped around.
Sidekick.
I think the sidekick.
The sidekick.
Oh, the sidekick. Yeah.
I never had one of those. I always wanted one.
Oh,
yeah. That was sweet.
It was amazing.
All
they used to like have commercials.
Talk about me.
Okay. My turn. Me. Carson. So for the podcast listeners, we pulled up Carson's LinkedIn because he's a business professional, and he has probably the most delightful LinkedIn experience I've ever seen. The caption above his 2 different photos of himself wearing a cowboy hat are the greatest salesperson, but the worst cowboy I've ever met. My prospects. It's like written like a testimonial there. That's delightful. This truly is. I'm not blowing smoke. Like this is the most fun LinkedIn I've ever seen, and I've seen other like cool kid designer ones or like things that should be interesting. You win. Good job.
Yeah. Go to the post in the bottom right corner, the how I imagine unseen the Burr email. Click the top one. This is a cold email. Am I right? Like, it's just me shivering. Burr.
Oh man, should I make the switch from Loom to Bomb Bomb?
I mean, depends. Do you love your family, your country, the people you send emails to? I mean, I guess it's just up to you. But
that's great, man. He just went straight for the jugular. He said, "I'm not going to go features."
I work for a software, Kameron, called Bomb Bomb that helps you record and send personal video in email. So a lot of like trusted advisors use it to create a more personal connection, set and hold more meetings, and get the tracking and analytics on when your prospects are actually paying attention.
Nice.
That's great.
So for instance, for designers, all the designers out there, let's say you do a consultation call with a church and Pastor Josh was the creative dude. As soon as that meeting's done, you need to pop open Bomb Bomb or some video and say, Josh, it was so great connecting with you. This is what I took away from our meeting, A, B, and C, and this is what I'm going to work on. I'm going to follow up in 2 days and cannot wait to chat soon. See ya. Right? Fire. Sending that video, one, reminds them what an awesome experience that was to work with you. 2, they hear your voice and see your face. So there's literally happy chemicals that get released that build a connection. And then again, it's that remarkable experience that they're getting. Oh, no one has ever sent me a personal video before. This is crazy.
Exactly.
Someone said my name. So I would definitely do that, especially if you're like trying to win more business. Like, hey, how personal can I make this? And then maybe they're getting quotes from other designers, but other designers didn't send them a video
do that.
said their name, and it cost you what, like 14 seconds of your life? For you.
No, I would have to redo it like 9 times before I sent it. So it'd probably be more like 15 minutes. But
bro, you're a lot like a lot of the people I work with. Luckily, though, we've done studies that have shown that people respond better to a more organic and natural video rather than a picture perfect one. So you're in luck.
I didn't expect all this.
I know, dude.
We got.
So, Cameron, are you ready to sign up for Bon Bon
Yeah,
today?
so
That's what we brought you here.
That's
the real reason we're here.
Hey, with heads bowed and
Making the
eyes
mark
closed
is
today.
actually just a sales pitch. We get people trapped in a room and then sell them a timeshare.
We make $3 a
Hey,
month from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
You thought
I've
you
got
were
these
gonna be a
mentors that were
podcast
able to
guest?
retire when they were 30, and I really want to introduce you to them, but they just need some money, and you read this book.
That happened to me one time, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy's being nice." And then we got to that part of the relationship. It's happened to me like 3 times in Arizona, just being like out
You
of
should
the
say
coffee
no
shop.
to more of these opportunities.
So this was when I was first like starting design, and I'm like, I got to be nicer. I got to learn how to talk to people and be more open because I need to make other business people in the world. And so I met this guy at a coffee shop, and he was like, "All right, hey, let's just go kick it. I really respect the fact that you're leaving engineering, going into design. Let's go have some coffee." We go have coffee. We talk about our lives. His life is like normal. I'm like, cool. And then he's like, well, read this book and then we can meet again. And I'm like, I just want to hang out with you. Okay, let's meet again. Did not read the book. He got like angry about me not reading the book. And then we planned on meeting again. Yeah. He did the whole shtick. I know 2 people who are married and they've retired and all of that. And then he's like, can I meet your wife? And I was like, sure. And so me and my wife set up a meeting with him. We had a chiropractor appointment right before the meeting. And we're like, hey, we're running behind. And the guy was like, got so mad that we were running behind and was like, I only had 30 minutes. Don't talk to me again was kind of the vibe that he had. And I was like, bro, all right, peace.
I had a similar thing.
I thought we were like friends, but apparently you had something else going on.
Wait, I'm confused though. What was he trying to sell you on?
It's like Amway.
Oh. He was trying to pull me on to be like one of they do this thing where they like get mad at you because they want you
to bully you into doing Amway.
Yes.
It's like lack of faith. If you if you have questions about it, it's like, well, really, Ashley, I think you need to look at like what opportunities in your life are you asking questions about, and what's self-limiting belief. And so I really encourage you to give me money, and I can
That's
figure
funny.
out the dreams.
Oh no, go ahead. You tell us your Amway story, and then I'll tell you my.
I had a similar situation, and we met this girl, and she was like, "Yeah, my coworker or my mentors retired when they were 30." I was like, well, what do you do right now? And she was like, and I'm well on the way. And I was like, well, what do you do right now? She's like, well, I work 3 jobs.
I'm well on the way.
That's not quite the same.
No, see, I've never been approached about Amway. I mean, I guess it's because I'm a female, but I've legitimately been approached, especially on social media like Facebook and stuff, about selling like freaking hair products or weight loss products like so many times, and it makes me so mad. And there was one girl that I knew in high school that she legitimately like I had to block her because she kept like pestering me about it. She's like, you should really join my team. I'm like, dude, I don't want to sell weight loss like pills. Like, leave me alone. Like,
have y'all gotten the DMs on Instagram? It's like, hey, we love your feed. We want to give you a discount code to our jewelry. And it's just like some piece of
I want to do a quick round robin and like find out what's in y'all's DMs, because I know what products I'm getting served. I'm curious, is this just like a blanket thing that they're like covering America in, or like are they catering them to our vibe and like what products they think we will move?
Yeah.
Carson, what do you normally get?
Yeah, you go.
I mean, I'm off social media, so it's been a long time. But when I was running Fits of Faith, it was all like fashion stuff. It was like, it
So
was
related to the podcast you're doing.
Yeah, it was like accounts that were like jewelry or watches or necklaces or whatever, but it's just like cheap stuff made in China that you get a code and whatever. And they're a dime a dozen, right? So I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of this. I know they do like one with like swimsuits too. There's like a female swimsuit type thing where it's like, we love your feed. We'd love to have you as a brand ambassador.
For cup sheet.
Did you guys even look at my bio at all?
Yeah, mine. I get a lot of. Mine are always like influencer things, like for products, like I don't know, for either like sometimes it's like design stuff or it's like random like facial care stuff like that. But then I've also gotten the goth girl one. They're like, oh, we think you'd be a great ambassador for our goth brand. I'm like, no, I don't think I would. But
so I was about to say, like, most of those feel somewhat adjacent to your deal, right? Like they got the gender right.
I think they probably pick brands and then they just go to the people that follow those brands.
That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it.
You know, like they go to whatever
Kim Kardashian or like, that's probably it.
What about you, Cam?
Yeah, I've gotten the jewelry one for sure. But most of the time when I see that headline, like those work, I delete it. So I never get into it because I'm like super nervous about my account getting hacked. And I know they can't hack it just off of you clicking like open the DM. But I've seen so many people just get their account taken and then they're just playing tag with a person in another country trying to get their account back. And I've never wanted to go through that because
that sounds horrendous.
Imagine for the young designer that's reaching out to churches or businesses wanting to give themselves a shot to work with them, how much a personal video would help distinguish them from a nameless, faceless text message, right? If we were able to put your
that lifestyle
name,
brands.
Yeah, you know what I mean? BombBomb.com.
If you were going to say, maybe you see a video where it's like, hey, Cam, what's going on? It's Carson with Making a Mark podcast. I wanted to reach out to put a face to the name and see how we can work together. Right? That's a real person. But that's just food for thought. Josh, yours are probably like golf products, like baby powder for
hats,
jockstrap, playing golf, different beer koozies.
I would love a good jockstrap ambassador campaign just to shake things up because I really don't get a lot of them, a lot of variety. I get the goth jewelry one probably once a week though. And like the first one was like,
they're determined.
Wow,
they really want you.
What have I done to signal like, yes, woo, right here?
Bro, they saw those old like youth group photos of you playing the guitar back when you had hair.
That's got to be it. They're doing thorough research and they're going back to like 2009 Facebook images and then they're connecting the dots between that and my company on Instagram and saying this same guy. We're just stay with them, guys.
The emo kid never leaves you, dude. There's a little bit of them in all of us.
Yeah.
Yep. And you have Cole in your name, so they instantly think black. So
there you go. So maybe like Making a Mark episode 60, we can have like a nice video montage calling back to this episode because I'll have like a necklace and tattoos on my face and two huge like whatever a gothic earring looks like. Like that's
it's like that weird shell. Like it's like the weird like eagle claw looking
like
thing
a claw,
that goes
like
through
talons.
Like talon ones.
That's it.
All right.
You're like, what happened to Josh? He was advertised to.
Yeah.
He's a brand ambassador now.
He copped off the timeline.
See,
his
I would
name
love
is changed to Dark Cole.
Dark Soul.
That's
Dark
fine.
Soul.
Dark Soul.
I would like
Dark
to,
Soul.
now that Cameron's planted that seed of fear in my heart about like, what, maybe if I say yes to them or open this, they're going to take over my account. But kind of want to say yes now and like pay the $14 and then send me 800 pieces of jewelry. And then I just show up like this, but like
see
with
how
a huge,
far the rabbit hole
gothic
goes.
necklace on and just like brand ambassador right here, baby.
Also, the way you say gothic sounds like you're freaking from Georgia, and you just don't. You're like,
gothic.
yeah, like gothic. Just like someone who wears black is like, yeah, they're just like gothic for sure, dude. Just like the way you're saying gothic, it's just like, yeah, man, they listen to like I don't know, like Papa Roach, and it's just like it's dark, dude. Anyways, I'll see y'all on the back nine.
See, I hear myself speak, and then I hear you speak as me, and it sounds different. You're more Southern. You're amping it up at least some.
No,
Cameron,
right?
Bro,
like,
I don't think so.
When I was growing up in my town, I lived in this small town. Maybe you guys can relate. But all we had was like Walmart. And so there's those kids that like wanted to be goth, but they couldn't get to Hot Topic. So the only place they had was Walmart. So literally they were called Walmart goths. And it was just like where the kids in the big city had pants with chains in them. Ours just had like black sweatpants. Like that's all they could get. You know what I'm saying? The Walmart goth.
They go to
that's
an aesthetic right there, homie.
And then like the Walmart goths were those kids that like wore the sweatshirt every day, but then like burrowed a hole through the friggin' sleeve, and it's like.
Did they have the hair? Was the hair swoopy across?
Oh yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm from a friggin' small town in East Texas, so the boys couldn't keep their hair super long. Like you had to cut your hair like they couldn't go past your eyebrows or your earlobes. So like those kids were like making the major swoop.
That ruins the goth though. Like
no, that's just a crossover
I heard you say
market.
Struggle in every stroke. You know what I'm saying? The goths aren't. The goths aren't.
That's that goth Brooks life right there, baby.
Man, it just sucks when you're trying to be goth, but your school won't let you be goth.
I just had the craziest deja vu. That was so weird. Like I literally saw Carson say, did we talk about this when you were on the episode before about the swoop and the bowl cut, or did I just have deja vu? That was.
I think we talk about it every time we. Deja vu's freak me out. But yeah, I definitely make a point to bring up bowl cuts every time I talk to Carson.
I think so. I think you guys do this just to mess with me.
Did you have a bowl cut, Carson?
Oh yeah, probably.
This feels like a sermon at a church where a pastor has one service and he doesn't really have like a time clock because we're 32 minutes in and I'm about to say, all right, let's get into the episode today, guys. You're like, I've been listening.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. And I've been here for 4 hours and we're getting into point one.
Is that you?
This is me 7th grade. Now, the thing is, I was a skater. So maybe I'm goth adjacent.
Yes.
But I was doing kick flips. Things goths could never do. Goths tried, but they weren't out there, you know.
They weren't like me. Like
they weren't skating. So yeah, I had long hair.
I'm different. I go to work.
They would trip over their sweatpants.
So. Exactly. They had and they have like Mario and Luigi like sweat bands.
Oh yeah. The best.
Speaking of Mario, can we sidebar? Have you guys seen the new Mario movie?
It was so good.
It's a banger.
It was great. I had such a good time. Like I was just trying to enjoy it.
I don't believe in theaters.
Not surprised, dude.
I don't think they exist.
No,
is there a reason?
Josh's wife's ankles have also never been seen. For all we know, Josh lives on some sort of southern religious compound. We've never seen the outside of his house.
That's true. He supposedly has a dog. Exactly. I've heard the dog, but I've never seen the dog. I don't think the dog even exists.
I need to show you guys what my life is right now. Carson's taking shots at my lifestyle, and my daughter is meanwhile choosing bubble gums and chews them for 6.5 minutes, swallows some of them.
Then you get it
somewhere in her room, maybe. I don't know. She'll bring me back little chewed up pieces and then come back and get another one. But this is how we're getting to the podcast today, guys.
Bro,
nice.
We have gum in the car. I pop a piece. I give a piece to my 3-year-old. Same thing. Maybe 48 seconds. Okay, I'm done. And I just pop it in. I go double, dude.
Double bubble, baby.
I get it. There's still some flavor though, Ashley. So
that is fair. That is foul.
There's some flavor. Now you got twice as much gum.
Cameron, I feel like I need to meet you again outside of the context of this conversation. It's like, man, Carson said a lot of things about Josh, and I don't know what's true.
Yeah, so exactly. Cameron's like, interesting.
What have I gotten myself into? Let's get into the topic today. So this is stealing a page out of Cameron's book. We're gonna actually take a look at some rebrands on brand new. and have some commentary. And while most of us on the call are designers, Carson has a loud opinion and funny thoughts. So I figured he would still be able to provide some great notes for us today.
Here, do you want me to? Is it easier for me to put the link in the private chat and you can just click on it?
I got you, fam.
Oh, okay, good.
I bought some time in
got
your 32-minute intro. So now we're ready to.
You got it ready.
I was able to get it going. All right. So for those of you who have not heard of Brand New, it's a great website or under consideration. I never know which one is the actual name. I've called it both.
When Ashley hears that, she thinks, Jesus Christ, I'm alone again.
I literally was going to say Brand New is my favorite band. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the other one? Oh, what's the loud? Anyways, Josh, come on, dude. It's your
Just
podcast.
all of them. All of them.
This is exactly what we signed up for. Hey, folks, you get what you pay for on making a mark. If you join our Patreon that I haven't set up yet, then we'll be more professional and organized and not waste your time. You can skip the intro. That's the bonus.
This is gonna be people's favorite episode, I guarantee, because we have some freaking funny moments right now.
This is hilarious.
Right,
People are gonna love it. All right,
Newsy.
Fantastic, baby. Ashley, why don't you walk us through? You go first. This is your picks.
Yeah. So I picked this one because it shows this is Newsy, which I think is like a news website, I'm assuming. And I've seen this before, but I picked it because I like the before better than the after. I think it's better.
Yeah.
You got to back up your.
Well, I like. Here. I don't know. I like how it's got that little like comment box thing. I think I like it better than like the arrows and the typeface and the color, everything. I like it better.
The new one looks like a Harry Potter scar.
A little bit.
It does. Yeah. That's fair.
The boy that survived. The logo that survived.
Yeah.
Here's my thing is I always like to have like that quick like snapshot emotion of like, hey, what does this feel like to you?
Yeah.
And depending on who your audience is, obviously the conversation is a little different for, rebrands for churches because you have a pretty significant in-house audience that you want to think about. But in this stuff, like one of these feels like a mattress company or a finance app, and one of them feels like a news organization.
Yeah.
And that feels like, I think I might agree with you, Ashley. Like it feels like a dropped ball from a
the one on the left, the original, it almost reminds me a little bit of something about it reminds me of Entertainment Tonight, like their E, which maybe that's why they switched it. But the one on the right, like you said, it reminds me of purple mattress, like the color and the typeface reminds me of that. So that's why I don't know.
Like the old one is not as cool, but the new one is misleading.
Yeah.
If we're gonna simplify it.
Right.
I like, so this is my issue with like what's going on in logo design in general is like, I understand why we're going flat. Like we're going more flat where things don't lay on top of each other on purpose, just so that it can lay like for the digital world. So all of this improvement and the flatness is for the digital like application. But I just feel like we're losing so much of like context. Like I like that the original one is lowercase. Like I like to see some other people use like that lowercase all letter kind of feel.
Yeah.
You're probably right about the Entertainment Tonight. That's probably why because it's pretty close to that blue.
Yeah. I would think. And the E is very similar as well.
Oh yeah, that is true. So, but actually, I think you're right.
Their E's capitalized, huh? Let me look at it.
Yeah. And another application problem is what's your icon for the one on the left?
100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could pull the little chat bubble out, but I don't know. It just leaves some questions. But
that's probably all why they changed it. Like
Kameron, I feel like the big overall trend is to move away from like we had this thing that's like rich and personality and like took a stance. And rather than saying like, hey, what's a better execution of that? We're saying, let's just gut the soul out of this thing and call it good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it, so I do agree. Like, I think what we're doing is we're moving from the logo having to have that much personality to the supporting elements having the personality. So they're making the logo simple and then taking and making, because now we can animate pretty much anywhere, and anywhere the logo is going to be, it's going to be around like animation or
that's good
photos, or I think that's what we're doing. I think that's why it's happening, but it does like some of these long-standing marks to go and just get rid of them, like, and lose some of that history and not try to clean it up. So I think that's what's going on, but I don't mind the new, as long as when I scroll down and I see what you're supporting it with, it has to look sick. Like, what you're supporting it with has to look really good.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Sure.
It does put, and that feels like a more fluid thing, which again, depending on how much you trust your in-house crew, like, yeah. Carson, what do you think about the Pepsi deal?
I like the new one. It's cool. I like that it's retro and different and sick. The last one, I'm like, it's like the logo's trying to come back from summer vacation, and it's like, look, I'm a man. Like, I grew a mustache. Like, the one on the left is like, oh, that's just Kyle, and it's like, hey, the name's Kyle.
Kyle.
Like, who cares, dude? You're still corny, Kyle. Go to the next one. Go back to Pepsi. Yeah, one on the right, cooler. Looks more surf, more fun, refreshing. Love to see it.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the lore behind the old one?
Oh yeah, like the 700-page dissertation on the gravitational pull of this, and they've got like, you know, the Pythagorean
different
theorem
like
and,
faces, like the logo is oriented, so there's different faces. They spent like a couple mil on the old logo, and that's what the person presented them with, was just some randomness that they had made up.
That's an interesting approach in a pitch, though. You take an idea and you're like, listen, I'm going to have to get approval from a lot of people on this. Let me just make a 6-hour presentation. So by the time you just wear them down by the time they're like, how do I leave this thing? It's like filibustering. You're like, how do I get out of this room? You say yes to this logo.
Yep, you say yes.
Or I can show you 20 more slides on this piece of it.
Okay,
you're
so
probably absolutely right.
Here's a quote our president of our company told me, especially as a salesperson, is facts tell, but stories sell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Facts tell, but stories sell.
Yeah.
Right. The one on the left for Pepsi, a lot of facts. Look at all the angles and whatever. And it looks very marketable by corporate. This looks like this could be on a Real Madrid jersey as a sponsor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full of facts. The one on the right seems a little bit more like a story to me. So that's why I like it looks like a friggin' old thing that's on a beach car. Like, I think
or
refreshing.
Old bottle cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
It has elements of their, like, I think it's their 60s logo.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, it's like the Burger King did the same
Like a
thing where they
refresh.
kind of, refreshed back to something that already existed.
Face value, echo all you guys. Like, I'm wearing this hat all day before this thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Suck it, Pepsi.
another big
Also, everything is still in black and white for me. So I have no.
the
Pepsi
new
made
color
a bold
is
move,
better.
Carson. Yeah, it's black and white.
Yeah.
They went from red, white, and blue to black and white Pepsi. Pretty bold
That's it.
stance. A lot of upheaval in
No,
the
but
design community.
that blue though, I like that blue, the new blue. The
No, real
blue.
quick though, I want to make another big like global talking point about like everybody's heading retro, and I have some thoughts and strong feelings about it, but I want to hear from you guys. Like, good move, bad move, why?
So I'll start. So I've heard that, like, in times of downturn, like when it comes to like finances, we as I don't even know if it's just like a society or just human beings, we decide to go backwards to put us in a time that kind of distracts us from what's going on in the current time. So I think that's what's going on. That's why we're rebooting movies. That's why we're doing all this stuff where we're just pulling nostalgia, is to make us feel okay while everything's not okay. Like the meme where the dog's in the cafe and there's fire all around.
Everything's
them.
fine. This is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron, you said you've been a designer for like 4 minutes and you were an engineer before this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You seem like someone's been doing this for like 12 years.
So what happened was, as an engineer, I hated it. So I graduated from engineering school in 2015, and like I hated it, and I worked for like an hour a day because there was just that's how efficient you could be being a millennial in like the corporate engineering world. So I would sit and just watch The Future all the time, or
he's great.
That's where I was like doing a little like understanding of what design was. And so I was hopping on the concepts and listening to people talk about stuff and trying to understand what the world like actually was. I do this thing where I'm like, I'm thinking about something now that I'll probably jump into like 2 years from now.
He doing that.
That's just the way that
pre-research. That makes
yeah,
more
that's
sense
how
now.
my mind kind of works. But yeah, I just love this stuff. I think it's all around us. It's some like if advertising is something that's always going to be pushed in front of us, why not get in on it? Like, why not get a piece of it and be able to like affect that world? And then we always talk about like America is this great country. One of the greatest pieces of it is being able to be capitalist and make money and go out there and do your own thing. Why not do it? Like,
I love that.
If
well, yeah,
So-
and that, I appreciate you unpacking some of your story there because I've just been like I'm like, man, he's pretty darn good for like just getting into this thing, and then like, oh no, he also has like studied all the things and like is looking at global trends beyond like what he's personally interested in. I'm like, geez, what the heck? Where did this guy come from?
That's what I was telling my wife. I was like, I don't know if they know what they've signed up for because this is like all I pay attention to kind of thing.
I love it. I'm so glad. This is why I knew like I've wanted to do an episode like this for a while, but after I saw some of your stuff and knowing we have Carson, I was like, this will be so much fun. Let's do this today. All right, so that makes a ton of sense. And I personally like the nostalgic like vibes usually because it's like thicker lines, it's simpler, it leans more on just I don't know. There's just it typically like if I'm gonna pick up a product, it's gonna be that one. Mm-hmm. I disagree with the methodology behind it and how we have arrived here because I feel like we are saying this is gonna sell. This is what kind of Gen Z is leaning towards. We don't have a better idea, so let's sell nostalgia. Oh, like if things are trending down financially, like maybe they're reading the reports that you said this is the right business move, and it's like what I want you to do is have a compelling story that has lasted 60 years, and you rock and roll with the same Pepsi logo. And what I want you to do is have something that is so potent that it's like, yeah, I see everybody doing this trend and that probably will benefit them for the next few years. But our thing is already working so well and is so meaningful that it would like be a bad idea for us to jump off of the successful direction we're heading in as a brand. And I think that's where I'm at is like, I mean, we kind of touched on it with the other, like you should be making choices that triple down on your story and your unique lane. And if the best thing you've got is following a trend or going flat or sucking the soul out of the things, like, yeah, you're probably just a middle of the pack company or you're being run by finance people, one of the two.
Yeah. But that's the history of it though. Like even look at Disney, they tried to move forward with a different CEO and they had to go back. They had to go and grab the old CEO because they lost a piece of themselves moving forward. Like, and that's just business most of the time. Is like they're like, well, we need more profits. How do we do it? Well, this guy knows how to make money. Let's bring him in. But you lose the soul that way, and sometimes you disconnect from your soul and your culture, and it's over.
It's a weird balance because you got to have both. Because I've got broke design buddies that I'm like, man, if you just had like 3% more like business smarts about this, like you'd be cruising. But
isn't that fascinating? I always feel like the greatest designers like just need a little bit more business, and they're you're the next whoever you want to be, but you just don't see it kind of in front of you, and that's why I'm just like trying to double down 100% on myself because I have at times felt like that person who's like, well, I'm not good enough to be over there. Let me just like downsell myself. So it's a tough, it's a tough rope to walk because you don't want to be like too full of yourself, but in a little bit of it, you kind of do have to be full of yourself. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I act like way better of a designer than I actually am. So that has worked out for me so far. Let's talk about
I'm going to keep doing it. Let's go.
So, hey, Ash, what do you think about the 7-Up deal?
I brought this one up because I did the Pepsi one, so I thought I'd do 7-Up too. But I like the new can. I think it looks sick. I love that limey green. I think it looks cool. And I mean, they really didn't change much. It's just the actual can design, but I think it looks
This
cool.
is what's wild is I don't know if this makes me a grandpa or if I just haven't kept up. I don't remember this one.
I don't
Like
either.
if you asked me to draw a 7-Up logo, this is not what I would think of.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
I
know
get,
when
well,
this
I don't
happened,
know.
but
I don't even know what I would think, but
this is nice though.
yeah, it's cool.
And I'm not a paid subscriber yet, so I can't see the rich history of 7-Up. Let's go find it.
I will suggest you pay for it because
It's like
the
really cheap,
supporting
too, isn't it?
elements. Yeah, the supporting elements always kind of help push it home. I could tell you who made it though, because there's usually case studies on their website.
Oh
That's
man,
cool.
look at the old one.
Click on it so it's bigger.
But it also kind of looks like it says Zup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember they did a thing once
Oh
where
my
it
gosh,
was
this
like
is one of those
DNL. It was like 7-Up upside down. And so it was like a product called DNL, like
That's
Yeah.
funny.
diet or something. I think
All right.
partially too, like you have to look at with all these companies you brought up are so large that they
Yeah.
have like market share and brand recognition, right? For the
Mhm.
most part, everybody knows about Pepsi. If they could have it that we don't have to do anything, we set up our business and our structure that people will buy Pepsi for the rest of their freaking lives, and we never have to lift a finger.
Mm-hmm.
They would do it.
Yeah.
But just like in your business, you have to interject like acceleration to it
Yeah.
based on the market. So, you know what? People are used to seeing the same can on the shelves, right? They're used to seeing the same thing. So let's redo our logo, and it creates a like I think it's less like of a you're a good brand or a bad brand, and more of like how does this generate the right type of like business? Because with the
Mhm.
7-Up thing, like I don't necessarily care. I'm not going to drink it either way. But
Sure.
a thing you're not used to seeing that like stops the scroll, you know, to use Brady Shearer's word, like that will accelerate attention, and there in return it's sales. So like
Yeah.
but then I also think 7-Up could do an old can, and the average consumer does not care. Like
Yeah.
we're in the age too of like sneaker collabs and special one-off whatevers. That any kind of brand that has that status could kind of just do whatever, and no one's gonna be like, "What? You're back to the old logo? I thought we did the retro one now." But it's like, yeah,
It would just
put out,
that would just be me. That's it.
right? But 7-Up
anybody
could have
else.
an old one.
Cameron's out like protesting by
1929.
himself in front
Yeah,
of 7-Up.
no.
He's like, "Where's the old logo?"
Exactly. But
Bunch
they
of
can do
angry
whatever.
designers.
And no one would necessarily be up in arms, but it's generating like attention. So
Yeah. Yeah.
where like if you know one
That's
of
a-
us
that's
has a brand and you're changing your logo year after year,
It's
I
hurting
think that
you.
that hurts. But I think when you get to that size, like you have to interject attention into the macro brand to
Right.
generate a growth in sales. Then the question becomes, how well do you know your customers, your audience, the culture of the world? Are you coming off as tone deaf? And that could go either way. Like people love retro, let's just do it. And it's like, well, that's for the sake of just being retro. That doesn't mean anything. But again, if there's some
Exactly.
other kind of crazy story, oh, this happened. This NBA player loves 7-Up, so we did this thing with him, and people like just kind of knowing some of those things. I think is more interesting than, oh yeah, we did whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. So this website reminds me, I actually used to be a matchstick salesman.
No.
But then I just got so burnt out.
I was like, wait, really? And then
This also reminds me when I used to test pillowcases, but that was such a snooze that I won't even go into it.
It's all cricket, cricket.
I love this is like the perfect episode. I love the dad jokes were attached. Like you got kids running around. It's like
I'm
great.
disappointed in the reception to my actually great joke about Goth Brooks, but
I heard it.
I
heard
didn't catch
I
that.
thought
When
it was
did you
funny.
say that?
I thought
I
it was
didn't
funny.
hear
back when we're
that.
talking about Goth Cowboys,
I even
said-
repeated it. I repeated it. So
I
that
wish
hope-
people would have
you,
laughed
Tim.
more at my joke. It's my podcast.
I'm gonna take my ball and go home. We're turning off the podcast. You guys don't think
There's
my
no
joke-
more logos for y'all.
no more logo talk.
Thank
All right. I'm trying to find. There's a guy here. Change of brand. Here it is. Have you, Cameron? Have you listened to this podcast? Okay.
Oh yeah, a lot. I love that.
Yeah, I would love to figure out how to get him on an episode. Maybe you and me can get him on a joint episode where we combine our
You could send a personal video.
With BombBomb.com.
This episode brought to you by BombBomb. All right. This is great, guys. Shoot, I had several thoughts, but they're all gone now.
So
Anytime
I just
Fitness.
picked some that were like recognizable. So I recognize Anytime Fitness, but I mean, I feel like the updated one is an improvement. It just feels more, I don't know. Today, I feel like the one on the left feels kind of dated, like with the font and.
Yeah, I actually kind of love projects like this that come across my desk where it says, hey, can you make us better? We've got a lot of brand equity. We're not looking for significant change. Because like, you're like, yeah, cool. Like you've got a thing, like you have some sort of like direction or choice that's been made here, but it's just like an abysmal like execution of it. There are so many problems with spacing. Like, why is there these lines through here? Why are the lines different sizes? Like this guy's limbs are all like disproportionate. Like you literally just go in and like take the thing, fix all the problems, and it's a great project. I think they crushed this one.
Yeah, and because people want to get like thicker nowadays, so the new logo, the guy is definitely thicker than the one on the left.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
However,
that's their brand.
However, folks, look at the man. This is 1 or 2 lines away from being a swastika.
I thought that same thing.
Yeah.
I think they're grandfathered into the swastika.
You would, whitey.
Oh my god, bro! No lie, no, not that. Well, whatever. I'm not trying to get too political, but I had to stop wearing this hat out in public because people would like from a distance. You're like, oh, red hat, like that's a MAGA dude. I'm like,
also black and white. Thank you for.
I've actually had people ask me, like, trying to peel it off and ask me, like, did I put the patch over? I'm like, no, like, calm down. No, like, it's just, it's a Korean restaurant in Charleston. Calm down. I like the patch. I bought this in 2018 before we all hated each other.
You're gonna have to spray paint it, like spray paint it orange or something.
Just dye it.
Yeah.
So clearly calves and forearms were way more in and like kind of a peak fitness goal back in the day, but
okay,
I don't know.
Had to fill out. His teenage body went to his man body.
Like Kyle, am I right? He wants to come back from summer vacation looking a little more grown.
He's got a mustache.
His acne cleared up.
This is the longest I've ever looked at this logo, but realizing like they conveyed 2 legs with 1 leg, like it gives you the energy of a whole person, but they're just like, nah, we're not putting that other leg in there.
Yeah.
But like, it also could be an argument like he's a genie.
Or Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom. I like Danny Phantom. Or merman.
It's a merman, dad.
Merperson.
Merman.
Like.
Hey, or a cross, and it's anytime witness. Am I right, church?
Yep. You do a parody.
Sorry, Cameron, I forgot to warn you. I don't know if you're a church guy or not, but Pastor Coop is gonna be bringing the word. The original Rhinestone Cowboy pastor.
Hey, got to do it.
So this one I chose specifically because Cowboy Coop has his Fits of Faith, or used to do Fits of Faith. So I chose a fashion one. So it's Burberry, which I wasn't even familiar. I mean, I know what Burberry is, but I wasn't familiar with like the brand itself.
I think it's pronounced blueberry, but
Blueberry. Oh yeah.
Or again,
what are your guys' thoughts on it?
In Josh's neck of the woods, it's Burberry.
I think they went this way to feel more like expensive.
Yeah.
Because I think most of the fashion brands are doing this. Like I think someone else refined theirs and like brought back their the royal coat with like insignia on the inside or whatever. So I think that's what's kind of going on. Trustworthy, royal. That's like the feel. But I don't know. I always feel with fashion brands they can kind of do whatever they want. Like you could show up and do some street like graffiti and be like, "Hey, we're fashion," and it's like. You look weird, so sounds about right.
The one on the left looks more like
the
one on the left more looks like Burberry Factory to me. You know what I mean? Like or like it's like I said, it's like there's a brand called Burberry, and like this is what they thought the font. You know, those like brands that are like make knockoffs, but it's like not really, but kinda. That's what that was.
All right,
like.
so yeah, I fully support this situation here.
Come on.
And I think it's fun. It's like everybody's doing. I bet you this was, again. It'd be so nice to be able to like read the history. I'm gonna speculate.
That's why it pays to be cheap, Josh. That's what you get.
Oh my God. Carson, can you let me talk?
It's hard, dude.
You're stealing all the laughs, and now you're not letting me talk. I'm mad. I bet you these comments are just a bloodbath.
They're bad.
Like
They're
you
bad.
ask a room of 100 people if you like or don't like something.
Bro,
you're
it's
gonna get a bunch
bad.
of responses. You ask designers, and they're like, "Bro, is your grandma like Mrs. Burberry? Like, why do you care this much? Like, you're saying the most hateful things I've ever heard to someone in your industry about like a font change. You know, like it's It's not that.
And it's always funny because you're like, there's no way these people actually like do this work. Because when you do this work, you know that it's really hard to do any of this. Like,
this took 3 years and 800 approvals, right?
Yes.
All right.
So that's why I even have a hard time sometimes commenting on it, because there's like a piece of it behind the wall where you're like, you don't know what these people had to work with. You don't know what type of team they had to work with. You don't know what the money was like, the timeline was like. So it's just 100%. A lot of stuff that goes into this stuff that just gets ignored.
100%. All right, so I'm gonna make up a fictitious little story here, and Kameron might already have it memorized and can correct me, but I'm gonna say it's 1982, and they said we're gonna have a nice, clean, Gotham-esque sans serif font. We're just gonna make a bold stance here. Everybody's like, oh, so crazy, so high fashion. Look at you go. And then we see 17 Newsy projects later. They're like, wow, this is really fading into the noise of everything else. Let's go back to a more crafted word mark. I don't know why I'm assuming one of these took more work than the other one. That's not necessarily true. Just saying this feels like they unearthed something from, 200 years ago more than the one on the left. Sure. And they're just like zigging and zagging against the grain there. And that's, I'm so glad, baby. We really had 5 guests on the show today.
6.
Yeah, we'll get our, we got 6. But yours is not bringing you every 2 or 3 minutes a bubblegum update. So
I wish.
You're going to have to step up the chatter a bit. I don't know. What do you
Carson
guys
has
think about
12
that?
pieces of gum in his mouth.
No, I think you're dead on. I think that's exactly what happened. And I think they're actually trying to fit in. I think some people went more of this royal look before them. So I think they're just trying to fit in with the rest of the crowd. So
yeah,
you got to do it.
I'm a big sucker for you have the same logo 200 years ago and the trend catches up with you and you're like, been here waiting on you guys. Been here.
Yeah.
That's the way more baller move is they just stayed this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, to Josh.
Or maybe that's more similar to the original that it was, and they kind of brought it back, so we don't know.
Ooh, contentious one. Good call, Ash. City Church going to Churchhome.
I brought this one up just because, just for the church, this is the only one that I recognized. I've seen Churchhome. I don't know where I've seen it, but with some campaign I worked on or something had Churchhome.
It's one of the big boys. It's got one of the mega church pastors that a lot of people love.
Okay.
And I cannot remember. I think it's Judah Smith. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't even have enough context around the church or the situation. I just know it is one of the big ones. So let's keep this one just kind of logo focused.
Yeah. I like the new one. I think it's better than the old one. For sure.
The old one is abysmal for sure. Yeah. So, podcast listeners, if you're listening in for our descriptions, it is text typed over a line, and then they said, "Cool, done, ship it."
Is the logo just the line? You know what I mean? That's the icon. It's just the line.
That's a bold stance. Trademark lines. We have one line as our Instagram bio, and don't you dare copy us.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more meaning? Does the line mean the city is over the church?
No.
Is there...
that seems like a bad narrative if that's
what I would think.
Anti-mission.
Yeah. So
yeah. Maybe that's why they changed it.
Probably.
Well, Rise is saying, which that does sound familiar. He says, as far as I know, this was a rename / app launch. So Churchhome is an app, which that sounds more familiar to me because I don't know if that's Judah Smith's church name or.
Yeah, that's the name of the church. Is Churchhome.
It is Churchhome. Okay.
They have like apps and stuff. So yeah, it's just definitely cooler, better name change.
I think it's. I'll just say I just think it's okay. What I don't like is like the 2 H's. Like if one's gonna be specialty, I don't want both of them to be special.
Preach.
Yeah.
So
because now it looks like a font, not a intentional design choice. I thought the same thing, and the other one is, what's your icon? Because the special thing that you've made is baked into the middle of. Oh shoot, that's actually kind of smart.
But yeah, C and H, Churchhome. Like if you just put the C and H in the middle, it's like an abbreviation or for Churchhome.
Yeah.
I'm giving this one a smooth 9.5 out of 10 bubble gums for sure. Like the only edit being smooth out that H, and then this thing is sick.
Yeah. And then that's the mark. Yeah, that's fire.
Money. It's a little wide, but what you gonna do? Some cumbersome application issues you might run into, but it's on the brink of like, you know, like some names, like you're like, hey, once you hit this many characters or this width, you have to break it and have like stacked or alternate versions or switch to icon. This one's like right on the cusp. Like if it was 6 letters or 5 letters, I'd be like, bro, game over. But you know that's a name thing. That's dealing the cards you're dealt.
Well, I mean, that's why there's only because there should be 2 H's there. Like,
that's another thing. A bunch of people gave them flack about.
Churchhome. Yeah.
I got it though. Churchhome. I like that. I like that. I like that even better. Churchhome.
Ooh.
Hackney. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So this one I chose just because, well, I don't know. It kind of reminds me like similar style to kind of things that I make, like super minimal or like these little illustrations, but I definitely like the new one better. I feel like the other one did not work, but the new one is really simple too, but it's cool because it's like a window. I don't know. I like it.
Late breaking update. Pace ate another piece of gum and didn't swallow it.
Let's go.
Nice.
She comes and tells me this every 3 minutes, so I want to share that with you guys too.
I just wish that I would have liked the one on the left if you got rid of vertical lines and then the last curve line up into straight lines were gone. Because Josh, that kind of looks like the one that you made that Brady Shearer reposted, like with the humps and hills. Like if it was shrank down and it's just a dove over.
Humps and That's hills. A church name for you. Humps and Hills.
Humps and Hills.
I think that's like more interesting to me, like the dove over what would be, I guess, like a valley or something.
Yeah, like if it was cleaned up and made, yeah,
exactly. Like the vertical lines, like we don't need these, and then the horizontal ones, as soon as they go like straight, like why do we need those? Like
right.
But sick.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the application. I like it. I like the simplicity of it. The space feels good. Like it feels like everything's like really balanced and there's room. The old one looks really busy. Like that window looks like there's so much stuff going on. But I'm also looking at like their application and it looks nice. It looks clean. And then they're doing a bunch of stuff with like type. Like I love that now we're in this moment where you can have just a word mark and you put that word mark basically everywhere. And it just feels like this is important. And I love that. And we're getting really consistent when it comes to like fonts and everything. It's been really good. So I like this one.
Yeah, I like this one as well. I think I would be less jazzed about this if I didn't have context on it. And we saw this in the Best Church logo. Was that 2021 we did that? Because I saw like the main logo. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, okay, come on. Why do you have to be this? Okay, so this is actually the project here. Okay, can I see the logo sheet? Oh, here, this is a nice one. So pretty no-brainer there. But this is what gets real cool in a second, is they start filling this shape with, so it's like a dynamic logo. And if you go to the Hackney website, this is a cycling little GIF thing. So it's like constantly rolling through their values and stuff, which makes that immensely more cool. And it like perfectly bookends what you were talking about earlier, Cameron. Like, how often in 2023 are we looking at logos when they're not in a digital situation? So, you know, like when you get on campus and you see that church, like you see the physical stuff that is based on, and you see all these ads around town that are like alluding to the shape, and they're just, I don't know, it's really, really nice. But if you're to say like, hey, do you like that logo on a black screen? Like, I feel like you're only scratching the surface of what this one is, which, all right, another not swallowed gum. Wonderful, love.
I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, you kind of have to go see the whole thing. Their website is great. I love how they've kind of done it. It's simplistic, but it feels nice, and that they use that orange sparingly because it's the bright one, but they do a good job with it. I really like it. This is where I hope there's this trend of I always talk like boss babe or like women who are like trying to brand, and they go to Canva and they create like this. There's this certain style and it all looks the same.
The boss babe aesthetic. Yeah, that's the look. And there's also a millennial youth pastor look.
Yeah. And this is where I hope they like we're starting to go, is in this direction where it is simple, but like we're using things sparingly. Everything doesn't have to be on top of each other. There's space, there's air. It feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what you just touched on too is the difference between like, you know, a trendy end table that you pick up from Target versus something that was created by an actual designer in 1960, right? Yeah. Like they're similar. Like you got the Canva, like Boss Babe vibe, but like you could look at these things and say, I see the connection, but like one of them is immensely better and just gives your soul a sense of like rest and pleasure that the Target end table does not.
Yep.
Okay. I've got something funny to share. I have my LinkedIn pulled up on the other screen, and LinkedIn always tells you when someone views your profile. So I have one that says Ashley Ulmer viewed it. So sent the connection request. And then the next one says it's unknown, but it says founder in the advertising services industry from Greater Augusta area. And I'm like, what a way to describe Josh as a founder in the advertising services industry from the Greater Augusta area.
Yeah, because they want you to pay to see more information about me, right? But boy, that is lofty.
I've got LinkedIn Sales Navigator, so I actually can, it's fine.
Oh, okay. That does feel like a really lofty presentation of one guy scratching out logos at his house. That seems like a.
But LinkedIn is so stupid right now. Like it will give you notifications if someone sneezes close to their computer. Like Ashley Ulmer commented on a post that you might find value. It's like, but they won't give you notifications of people actually engaging with your stuff. So like you'll do a post and you'll have to go manually check it to see if someone like commented on it.
Yeah.
It's a weird world for LinkedIn.
I just got in the LinkedIn game recently. I mean, I made one a long time ago, but I just started trying to be on it, but I don't even understand it. So
we'll talk. You can book a call with me.
With bombbomb.com. Got it.
Well, not BombBomb, with Carson.
So what I've done is I've used tools like BombBomb, the other one, which will not be named.
That's fine.
To actually limit my human interactions. So like I can turn meetings into pre-recorded videos, and I can say, hey, blah, 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 and then send them a question, and they can actually send me a video back. That way I just don't have to actually talk to people anymore. It's ideal.
It's pretty great. I love it. I love the fact that they don't, like, you don't have to sit on a meeting for 45 minutes while they, like, sometimes people ramble, and sometimes you got to listen to it. And I'm like, this isn't even what we're talking about.
I've been in one of those situations.
This could be, you want to get Josh hot and on a rampage about stuff. I'll do it about file naming stuff. I'll do it about systems. Meetings is another one, and it doesn't come up as much because, one man show over here. But
besides the bubblegum updates.
Well, yeah, it's a one man, one kid show over here. It is infuriating to me when people show up, especially you've got like an hour long, like luxuriating standing meeting that happens every week, and there's not an agenda. like if before I get to whatever meeting we have booked, I want to know what we're talking about. I want to know what questions you want me to answer so I can be prepped when we're like making progress through this thing. That's a whole aside, but anyway, Canada Dry.
Canada
This
Dry.
guy falling into the bubbles, which does kind of take you to a place, right? Like you're not just looking at a logo, you're inside a bottle, bubbling it up.
Yeah, but I think it on the one on the right, I like the one on the right more because it's more, I just like that style, but also it does give me more of like vintagey look vibe or whatever. So I like it. I think
there's an economic depression, so let's have retro Canada Dry.
It's because old people aren't buying Canada Dry anymore, so they had to make it younger. I don't know if that's true or not.
Maybe, I don't know. The only person I know that buys Canada Dry is my dad, so I don't know who drinks Canada Dry.
I like the new one though.
So I hope they have enough brand like tie between that I'm able to find it in the store when I need it.
Put it in the healthcare aisle,
But the new one looks definitely more. It looks retro to me, especially with the crown. How simple everything is. I don't know. I like it. It's super balanced. It feels good. I'm just curious to why you needed to do that. Because again, like Josh just said, there's a story in his mind that whenever he's sick, he needs to go get Canada Dry. So if your story's already that, why do you need to go get an update?
They should really have sick people like coughing and like vomiting. That should be the real message here. What
if they completely change their advertising?
We saw this episode of Making a Mark, and this genius marketing founder from Greater Augusta area gave us some stellar advice.
Yeah, more like making a barf, you know what I'm saying?
Hey-o.
Hilarious.
I'm here for it. I feel like it fits the concept. Like some of these, I feel like they're taking a hard left turn and going from like we were this, now what does that look like vintage? This feels like, it could be in their like history of stuff since 1904, right? And it probably is harkening back to some older version. They thickened up some lines, cleaned up things, but yeah, I'm here for it. I feel like it fits the brand story and it looks nicer and good. Goobly, I love this type. Like, man, that's super nice. Like, it's got personality. It has the right emotion. It's got a little, like, custom feeling touches. And it's really legible, which is a big deal when you got a product on a shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it does look like it goes back to an older version. But I like it. It looks great.
Schweppes coming in hot to steal that idea. That's what Rise says. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Schweppes, what they look like.
It's another thing that I forget about until conversations like this. All right, we got to land this plane, but Carson, I want you to speak to us about Army Strong. This is the perfect little bookend here because the audience on Fits of Faith was the Garmy.
The Garmy. I think it's a good move from them. I think too, part of their big aspect is recruiting. So it's not necessarily like people aren't buying Army products. It's sales. It's recruiting. It's do I want to join the military? And some of that's based on the marketing. And believe it or not, like, oh yeah, like that just looks sick. Like, so I went Army over Navy. And they went with it. So I think it's cool. It's great.
Yeah.
That is such a fascinating and bizarre situation because I never thought about that. Like, there is no like Army thing to buy. Like, you can either like sign up or observe. Like that. Those are the two ways that regular humans interact with the Army.
Or like, my son's a soldier.
Yeah.
Yep.
But because honestly, too, though, that's a uniform in such, or in a way of like there can be mistaken identity. You know what I mean? Like, I could wear a shirt that says sheriff on it and try to like, hey, I'm part of the sheriff's department. I need to get in here. And it's like, well, no, you're not. This isn't just a piece of swag. This is, coincides with the uniform. So yeah, I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, I think the one on the right definitely feels like you said, Carson, like it's pitching to a younger audience. Like obviously the soldiers that they're trying to have sign up. But yeah, I mean, and also I could see so my husband was in the Army, but like his,
thank you for your service.
You're welcome. I could see the one on the right would look more clean on like merch as far as like the little tags and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. Sick.
I wonder if they do they ever break the US and Army and like stack it? Or is it always in line?
I would think it's always in line, but I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's fine. I grew up on a military base, so like military stuff, I'm just like cool. Like, because my dad was in the Army for 20.
Fades into the background for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, and it was one of those things where he's like, no, not for you. Don't even look over here. Like,
could you get him on the podcast right now? Maybe ask him that question about like if you stacked or split it.
He would
This
not
just
know.
in,
What
hot
was
take
going on.
from former military.
The news would pick it up.
I love it. Well, guys, it's time to end the party, but we got to end it in the show's namesake and make a mark.
Make a mark. I think we need to do something with bubblegum, just because I feel like that was like an existing theme. Is the bubblegum pack.
I love it. All right, bubblegums. Cameron, we've got 1 minute. And
See that magic trick?
No.
Yeah, it was really cool.
My son's messing with my standing desk.
Are you standing right now?
No, I'm sitting, but I could stand.
I was like, that's weird.
I could take a stand for something. And honestly, if more people would rise up and take a stand, every head down,
2023 is
Army,
less hard
Less
stances. All right, guys, we got 1 minute. We're drawing anything related to bubblegums. Ready, set, go.
Oh.
Okay. Hold on, son.
These bubbles better look pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Let's normalize kids in the background on podcasts. I remember listening to one of my favorite baseball team podcasts back in the day, and they would just like ream their guys when like the printer would start up in the background. I'm like, guys, calm down. Like, it's not that serious. It's a podcast that you guys are doing on Saturday nights, and like, it's good, but like, it's not that serious. It really is not that serious.
Josh, I always like to quote, my favorite song that said, if we were a team and love was a game, we'd have been the 98 Braves.
That's a great line.
That's Morgan Wallen.
But Morgan,
I feel like we've done way more than a minute.
It just went. Pencils down,
Okay.
please. Cameron's freaking cheating. I see him over there cheating.
Hey,
Bro, his dad's in the Army, so you need to shut your mouth.
He'll fight you.
Have you seen the Vine that's like, you just disrespected a future U.S. soldier? You remember that Vine? It's like these sixth graders outside. It's like, you just disrespected a future U.S. Army soldier.
That's amazing. I hope that guy's in the Army now. That'd be great.
I'm in
Full
the
circle.
Lord's Army. Yes, sir.
Everybody show your work in 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, man, that's so good. I love all these. All right, now we're going to go share our work with the class here. So, Ashley, you go first. You got to explain and pitch to us. Tell us why you got the best. And you put a dang face on it, bro.
Yeah, because that's just my signature now. It's just Bubble Man. I can't hold on. I turn it. There we go. Bubble Man.
I'm gonna show them.
I think he looks a little more like Bubble Bath, like the
a
Bubble
soap
Bath
bubble?
guy. Yeah, but it's all right.
What's the Little Miss or Little Mr. Bubble Man? Like the
Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah,
thing?
I'm trying to think of what his name was. He was like a bath bubble. I think it was like
Oh.
Mr. Bubble. Mr. Bubble.
All right.
Also, if in
Scrubbing
this
bubbles?
world,
Maybe.
does he want to be
Eaten?
chewed and turn, like, is his final evolution form like a bubble blown, or
Yes.
does he want to stay in hard ball form?
No,
That's a good-
he wants to be chewed up and blown into a bubble. That's his destiny in life.
Dang.
Dang, that's rough. That's a rough life.
Hate to see it.
R.I.P.
All right.
R.I.P. our
Here,
homie man.
I'll go next as my son's trying to add mine. Mine is Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's
And the
cool.
brand is called Swag Bubble Daddy. Because I've recently learned how to draw Sonic the Hedgehog.
You practiced.
Carson said, "I don't care what the prompt is. You're getting a Sonic."
Just Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's what I practiced.
I'm learning how to draw like cartoon characters. So when I meet kids, I'll be like, "Do you like Bluey?" And draw like a Bluey, and then write their name and give it to them. You can draw it now. And then they're like, "That person
Bluey.
drew me, Dad. Bluey. I have a picture of Bluey saying my name." And it's the greatest thing ever. So that's
and then he has a future
human for them.
He has a future customer, so that makes sense. I would do the same thing.
So that's swag bubble daddy.
Sales.
Sweet.
All right, I'll go.
All right, Cameron, explain your
All right,
work.
so I started with B, and it was supposed to be like gummy and disgusting. And then I was like, that bee grew limbs. I was like, let me put a hat on it.
I love
It
it.
looks kind of gross. Like
I
gums
think it's
always like
great.
grossed me out because my brother used to like, blow. He would take blow pops and then chew up the gum and then just stick it places. And I was like, so growing up, I had to live with that. And I'm like, now I'm just like super averse to gum, like to the point where my son doesn't know what it is. So I don't know if he'll ever know what it is.
I love that. Well, let me tell you, your desk isn't wet and sticky right now from chewed up little carcasses of gum, which is what
Yeah.
I drew is a metaphor.
You
for
literally
the
just
episode.
traced them. You just traced
It's just a bunch. There's a few little soldiers left, but it's mostly the carcasses of gums that have served their purpose to my daughter. And then while you guys were sharing your work, she drew on top of my drawing. Another
Great.
apt metaphor for the show. But guys, this has
think
been a
it's great.
blast. We'll have links for everybody down in the show notes. Man, I love y'all. It's been great. You have a great weekend.
Thanks for being here, guys. Happy Friday.
Peace.